If you're going to use sketchbooks with your children in the classroom, you could easily save time by buying a ready-made sketchbook with a soft or hard cover. But it's much more fun to make one, and the children feel ownership of it. They can be made very simply, from folded, good quality paper, with a big stitch in the middle, with coloured end papers perhaps, and a decorated cover that folds round the end paper. Or you can have a zigzag book with covered ends and just a folded zigzag which joins onto them and creates a book which can be taken on a trip. It's quick and easy to use. They can be big, they can be very tiny. This one was made by a 3-year-old with folded paper and a tiny piece of string. One of the simplest ways to make a sketchbook and economic way to make a sketchbook is to make it from one sheet of paper. This is called an origami book. First of all, the paper is folded in half long ways. Unfolded, folded again on the short side. Each end is then folded into the middle. It's good to make a nice clear and clean fold. So in reverse. Then the sketchbook is folded back again onto the short fold, and starting from the fold and taking a pair of scissors, you cut from the top down to halfway. If you don't want your children to use scissors, then it can be torn. Open up and push the paper towards the middle, and you'll see the pages beginning to form, and you just fold them so that you end up with a small book. When children use sketchbooks freely, they act like a playground for ideas, where children can take risks and experiment. Sketchbooks also act as a place where children's voice can be heard. In a busy classroom, some children get ignored. A sketchbook is a place for children to have their own thoughts. When they become a habit and a way of working, they begin to develop skills which will help children to become autonomous learners. Sketchbooks are like a room for thought. We need to allow children time to go there. When they're there, they're acting as researchers. They're gathering material, they're reflecting on it, they're making decisions, they're making links between ideas. They're on a learning journey, and sketchbooks record this learning journey. You can see where children have thought. I spoke to a head teacher about how she would know when the children in her school were thinking. And one little boy said, "You won't know when I'm thinking, but you will know when I've thought." And they don't always have to be called a sketchbook. They don't have to be a book. I once had a student who refused to use a sketchbook. She insisted on using a shoebox, which she filled with all sorts of jottings and images on scraps of paper. So what's in a name? We're not asking teachers and children to work harder, but just differently. Sketchbooks are not an add-on. They are a different attitude to learning.